Hello YouTube, this is MTShark7 here, and this is another edition of Game Pickups. Now this video may be a little bit longer than my normal videos. Got a ton of stuff here. I got game cases, I got free lot of stuff, I got package, a trade I did, and I went to a convention last weekend. So enough rambling, now let's get started, shall we? So I think it might have been the last video or the one before it. I did those, I bought those 3DO game cases off of Retro Game Cases. Here, Retro Game Cases? Yeah. And I think the owner, I still don't know if he's the owner, but let's call him the owner for argument's sake. The owner, Shane, he told me last time, he's like, well, if you have a game that we don't have the case for in our database, like, let us know and we can hook you up. So, well, one of the games was Plumbers Don't Wear Ties, and I thought I had it complete, but I only have the game and the manual. I don't have like the backing for the jewel case. So I told him, I was like, oh, well, would you be able to do Plumbers Don't Wear Ties? And now it's a new item in their database because of me. So these are the lot of game cases I picked up. I got Doom, which this isn't mine. This is actually for a trade I'm doing with Chance. As you all know him, aka Doom Waves. He's been I couldn't get the manual, but I have the game. And yeah, this game it's funny because I kind of messed up, screwed up on eBay. I was looking for this game complete, and I think I put in bids on two different items, and the one item I won, which was complete, and then the other one I thought it was like complete just with the jewel case, but little did I know it was a stupid there's generic pictures or whatever the hell they show if it's not the actual item, and I didn't bother reading the description, but it says like disc only, which was this, and I was like, well, what am I going to do with 2 copies of Doom? Like, that kind of sucks. And I know Chance just recently, around, I think, a month or 2 ago, he posted up his Doom collection, which I know he's like a huge fan. I myself am a huge fan of the Doom franchise. And I know he didn't have the 3DO version. I was like, oh, well, if you want, I could trade. And I felt kind of lame, like, just been like, here's the disc. And I was like, you know what, I'll try to get a manual down the road. But I couldn't find the manual, unfortunately. Sorry, buddy. But I did buy a nice case for it. And he was psyched. I showed him pictures. So he was excited to get that. So, and he told me not to worry about it. I was like, oh, don't worry about it. I'm like, dude, like, it's going to be lame just trading you just the disc only. Like, it has to come with a manual or something. So, next up I got Plumbers Don't Wear Ties. So now this is, I guess, complete in box, since I have the manual and game. Mad Dog McCree, which I think my last video I showed this. Now I have it complete. And Dragon's Lair for 3DO. So I think now my 3DO collection is finally like 100% complete in box. And everything's like protected. I have the box protectors for the long box. So what should I do next? I guess continue with the cases. So I think my last video Nick has been selling reproduction cases for like Nintendo. I think he had Nintendo and 32X in there. So I picked up more another Nintendo lot of games. So, well, first off, I ended up getting a manual. Stunt Race FX, which this is for what I got at the convention. Spoilers. So I got Legend of Zelda, the clamshell case for that, for Nintendo. I got The Adventure of Link, Zelda 2. Well, Zelda 2, The Adventure of Link, whatever you want to call it. So that's that. I got Turtles 3, The Manhattan Project, which I don't own this game, but it's the only one I need, so I was like, well, might as well pick it up. Because that would be kind of dumb to have the first and second when I don't have the third. And then Turtles 2, the arcade game, which I do have this. I don't think I have the manual, so I have to look. And then the original, everyone's favorite, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Yay! Everyone loves this game, right? Alright, so yeah, last weekend in New Jersey, they had a South Jersey Geek Fest right in this next town over. And I never been there before, but a couple of my friends actually run it. And it's just like a small convention, like it has video games, like nerdy things, like comics and cards and stuff like that. So we went there, and dog always trying to ruin my video, like barking for no reason. Oh, he's gonna end up in a trade package one of these days. Thank God. But yeah, it was like really packed, and my girlfriend's not really. She doesn't really like a whole like lot of crowds. So she went outside, and her friend ended up showing up. So she was like, "Oh, well, you know what? You can go inside, and I'll watch the baby." So I just went inside. I usually, when I go to conventions with like video game like vendors, I usually like circle around first to see what they have. I don't really like to go to the first one and start buying stuff, because the next person might have something cheaper or a better deal, or won't be an ass and not give you a deal. So I ended up going to the one vendor, and they hooked me up like with everything, and like the stuff basically was just like $22, the stuff I got. So the one guy was selling just the Super Nintendo box, so I got Stone Race FX, which now that's boxed incomplete. I have the game, I didn't have the manual, so I got that. I put the protector on it already, and the box for Jurassic Park. I just need the manual for this, and that'll be another complete in-box game. And then I picked up this little lot of PlayStation, Xbox, and PS2. So this is a Chad Bailey pick for Xbox. Crimson Skies. What is it? High Road to Revenge. It's only Xbox exclusive. And this says it's not for resale, but the disc and the manual don't say not for resale. So you think they would say that, which they don't, which is kind of weird. And then PS2, I got Project Snowblind, and all these games are complete, and you know, everyone knows things are complete. The discs are pretty good, in decent shape. I got Kessen 2. I would have been looking for the first one, but I can't find it anywhere, so I was like, well, they had the second one, I might as well get that. And ATV Off-Road Fury 2. So that the 2 boxes and the 4 games, that was like $22. And second to last, my girlfriend's friend, her brother was getting rid of his Atari 5200 stuff. I guess he found it in the basement or something, and he knew that I collect video games, so he asked her. He was like, "Oh, would your boyfriend want the Atari 5200 lot?" And I told her, I was like, "Yeah, I'll take it." So he dropped it off at her work last Friday. So unfortunately, it came with the system, 2 controllers, which were busted. The power adapter, it was missing. It was a 4-port system, so it was missing the thing to go to the television, which I have a 5200 4-port, which has complete, works perfectly. So it would have been just an extra system I could have used to trade. But yeah, this past weekend I got around to testing it. System does not power on. So I'm like, what the hell's going on with this? So I take my working power supply, hook it up, still nothing. So then I took the power supply that I got to my system, it didn't work. So I was like, all right, well, the power supply doesn't work. So I hooked it up again back to the system, and it's not working. It's just dead. So I don't know what to do with it. I threw out the controllers. They're just good as dead. The buttons were ripped off. It was a mess. But I do have the system, the broken power supply, which is broken, and I think like 4 or 5 games ended up were broken. I cleaned them real well, and I tested them in my unit, and just no picture, just like freezes up. I tried cleaning them the best I could. I wasn't getting anything. So I don't know what to do with them. I was thinking of just like offering them to anyone on YouTube if anyone wants it, and just can pay for shipping. I mean, should I just throw it out? I was gonna like repair it because I do repair systems, but I actually already have an extra 5200 in my trunk of my car, and it's funny. It's been sitting there ever since I had my car. I had the car for over a year, and it's been sitting in the trunk the whole time. And it's funny. I was like, oh, you know what? Let me test my duplicate system because with the weather and everything, like nothing went wrong. Like nothing gets inside the trunk. So I was like, oh, let me test it, and I hooked it up and fired off perfectly. So my duplicate system still works in the trunk. I keep it in, and I have this broken system. So if anyone wants it, just pay for shipping, which is $500 because the system weighs a ton, or if I should throw it out, I don't know. But so I want to thank Sam for hooking me up with all this 5200 lot. I don't know if he watches my channel, but I figured, might as well thank him anyway on YouTube. And I asked my girlfriend, I was like, well, which brother? Because he has 2 brothers, and I think his one brother was dating the one actress from Shameless. So I asked her, I was like, is it the brother that's dating the actress from Shameless? She's like, well, I don't know. I'm like, well, that's great. Thanks for telling me, giving me the detail on that. But I'm just going to say, oh, yeah, it's the actress's boyfriend from Shameless. I have his 5200 games. I don't know. Probably doesn't make it any more, whatever. Anyway, the games that do work, I added to my collection. There was 2 of them that were duplicates, so I guess I add them to my hopefully growing trade box. So is this duplicate? No. I actually used my label maker to say duplicate on here. So first up, I got Space Dungeon. So there's that. Next up, Real Sports Soccer, which I thought I had this game, but apparently I don't, and now I do. So there's that. And next up is Vanguard for the 5200. And then Miss Pac-Man, which I kind of screwed up there, like you can see. I don't know if it's kind of like a smudge there. I tried to go lightly with alcohol to clean up all the, like, whatever the heck that is, scratches, but I started doing that. I was like, oh man, I better stop doing that. Mess up the label. It's whatever. What it is. Next up is Frogger, which I noticed they have these numbers. I guess they were like the order in which he bought them in. The duplicates are at the bottom. So we have Pac-Man, duplicate, and lastly, Real Sports Tennis, another duplicate. So yeah, that's awesome, man. Like, I wasn't even expecting. Like, I thought that was nice of him to think of me to give me those games. So I'm excited to add these in my collection, the ones I don't have, and the ones that I do have, I could use for trade, or maybe I could get rid of my duplicate system. Who knows, or whatever. But yeah, that's awesome. So thanks, Sam, if you're watching. I don't know if he watches or not, but whatever. So, lastly, well, I guess I'm doing okay on time. Probably be another 20-minute video. Oh. Alright, last but not least, I got a trade. Actually, this is officially my first trade with a YouTuber. Yeah, I got rid of I ripped off the address. Oh. And I already opened it. I did a trade with Steve, aka BC Retro Gamer. You can check his link in the description, as well as Chance. You know what? I mentioned Chance, I'll throw him in with references. I'm gonna start, if I start like talking about YouTubers, I'm gonna put them in the references section. I feel like I'm writing a goddamn novel or something. Check your references. Oh god, there's a fucking spider on the wall. Oh well. It's not harming me. So yeah, oh god, I'm not even finished talking yet. I'm jumping the gun here. So yeah, I updated my PlayStation 3's hard drive, and Steve, I know he has that PlayStation Slim, and we were messaging each other back and forth on the Facebook there, and he was like, yeah, I would like to have another hard drive, and I was like, well, I have 2 broken laptops. Like, I used the one broken laptop's hard drive to replace my PS3 hard drive. And Steve was like, oh, well, could I trade you your old PlayStation 3 drive? I was like, well, I don't want to trade that one just in case if, like, the 500 gig that I have in there goes to shit, then I can just put my old one back in. And, I don't know, it's kind of like it came original with the system. I really don't want to get rid of it. So he's like, but I told him, I was like, well, I could get you another one. And he was like, well, I don't need it to be too big because I had another 500 gigabyte one. And I tested it. I was like testing it, and the thing was broke. And so I think that's the reason why my laptop was broken, which sucks, but well, it is what it is. And I did have another one laying around that I just left at work when I brought like all my random stuff with me at work just to store it there. And I was like, oh, I think it was 120 gig I traded them. So I tested it, I ran the disk check, I formatted it, and I showed him a screenshot because I'm a worry one. I'm like, gotta make sure it works. I don't want to think I'm ripping them off or anything. So I made sure it worked, and I packed the hell out of when I packed it. I had what did I have in there? Egg crate styrofoam shit that you put in your bed or whatever. I stuffed that in there, so because I hear horror stories of Canada Post that they just destroy, mutilate packages. So I was like, I gotta make this thing Canada Post approved, and he got it, and it works perfectly. So I'm happy about that. Awesome, thanks, Steve. And well, I'm glad that worked. So he traded me some common Wii games, just a couple of them, nothing too fancy to write home about. First up, we got MLB Power Pros. And I went through the games real quick before I did the video, and the games are immaculate condition, they were never touched. And next up is Sega Bass Fishing. So I wonder if the graphics are going to be better than the Dreamcast, since it came later than the Dreamcast. But this was one of my favorite games for the Dreamcast, so I'm excited to play that on the Wii. Then we got New Carnival Games, which is funny because I remember my one friend, Frank, he moved to Colorado, but he always begged me to buy that game. He's like, go get that game, it's awesome. Get that game, it's awesome. I never did, and now I finally got, I guess that's the second version of the game, and he lives in Colorado now. So he wants to play, he's just going to have to get a ticket or flight out here to play it. Whatever. And last up is Dewey's Adventure. This game looks kind of goofy. I don't know what this is about. There's some goofy nonsense going on there. So yeah, thanks, Steve. First time doing a trade with a fellow YouTuber. So this is technically my second trade. Because the first trade I've ever done in my life was with a member on Atari Age. So that's awesome. Sweet. Yeah. No. Oh my god. He sticked out on the note. Unbelievable. Oh, what is this? The Gladiator Bloodsport of the Future. That's a note. That's Steve's note. The Gladiator Bloodsport of the Future. I'll take it. Look at all like a bunch of random ones. DVD at last? What? Man, this must be super old. They're all hype about DVD. Star Wars on DVD, no way. That's enough of that. This video is getting too long, and I am wasting all of your precious time. I apologize. That is it. Whew. Bunch of stuff. Yeah, so, again, thanks, Steve. It's awesome. Definitely going to check out Bass Fishing and the Carnival game and this Dewey's Adventures kind of movie. I don't know about the baseball. I probably suck at baseball. I suck at the Wii Sports one, so it's probably just going to be the same suckage as because I can't hit the ball to save my life. So, not the game sucking, just me playing the game I suck at. So, yeah, thanks, Sam, for the 5200 lot. Kind of a bummer that the system and the games didn't work, but I mean, he really wasn't sure if it was going to work either, but at least, I got, what, 5? I think 5 of the games, 5 of them added to the collection and 2 duplicates, so still a win either way. I mean, heck, anything free is a win, right? So yeah, thanks for checking out the video, and have a good night. I'm T-Shark7 signing out.